This episode features two different Beatles songs, the very first of which is the title track of the album, Please Please Me, and it is said to have kicked off Beatlemania. This is a quote from John Lennon. He said, "We really thought we were on top of the world. Then came Please Please Me, and wham! We tried to make it as simple as possible. Some of the stuff we've written in the past has been a bit way out, but we aimed this one straight at the hit parade," and that's what they got, a giant hit. This is one of their very famous early records. So here we go, let's check this one out. Please Please Me by the Beatles.
Last night I said these words to my girl. I know you never even tried, girl. Come on, 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 come on. Please, 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 oh yeah, like I please you.
Oh yeah, this is a hit. This is a hit. I mean, you can just tell. Listen, they made this to be playing at bars and at dance halls, and I'm sure it was doing damage in its day, man. This is I think so much of it is to do with the pleasing element of the vocals, the way the harmonies work, the way the ad-libs work. They all build up this feeling of vibrancy and energy. It all feels fun, really fun.
Please, 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 oh yeah, like I please you.
That harmony is so tight, so tight.
You don't need me to show the way, love. Why do I always have to say
I love this bit.
come on, 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 please, 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 oh yeah, like I please you.
The ending of every like phrase or phase or whatever it's called, like that is really where the interesting part comes in. They switch it up and they keep it interesting each time. Ringo Starr does a great job of his fills. I feel like he's an underrated drummer. He has a style that I can see is quite like idiosyncratic. It's very unique to Ringo's style. It sounds a little bit off in a good way. I like it. I've listened to at this point drummers like John Bonham who have this power, who I've described as like a force of nature. Ringo's not like that. He's more of a backdrop. He sets the tempo for the track, serves the song, you could say.
Please, please, oh yeah, like I please you. I don't wanna sound complaining, but you know there's always pain in my heart. In my heart. I do all the pleasing with you, it's so hard to reason with you. Oh yeah, why do you make me blue? Last night I said these words to my girl. Why do I never even try, girl?
It's really interesting to me that the African American artists, the black artists in America that were making blues records were really understood by UK based bands. England and English musicians got them the best, I felt like, at the time. Rolling Stones, Led Zeppelin, the Beatles were all influenced by the blues. And I feel like you could feel the influence in their writing. Blues records are often about love, about a woman who doesn't reciprocate your feelings. And this is clearly the idea of this track. And there's certain lines that show the pair as a writing duo and their brilliance. Check this out. But you know, there's always rain in my heart. Rain in my heart. It's a great way to kind of set an image of this guy who has been living his life kind of sad until this girl came along, and now all he's trying to do is please her.
Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on,
Come on.
come on, please, 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 oh yeah, like I please you. Oh yeah, like I please you. Oh yeah, like I please you.
Machine gun fills. Okay, what have I learned from early Beatles records? Chemistry is unbelievable. Lennon and McCartney show a natural harmonizing ability that makes their voices just connect in a way that is meant to be almost. And then thirdly, the sound quality of their recordings is fantastic. I've thought of that a couple of times, and I think their producer George Martin, the very famous George Martin, right? Yeah, the records sound great. This sounds like a hit, even in my ears, my hip hop ears, born in '95. It still sounds like this was created to be a hit. Again, I spoke about how their impact on girls and why their fan base was so strong with girls, and I can see how like these guys were like so lovable. There's like lovable puppy dogs almost at the time, you know, the idea of just wanting to please her and being sad all your life until she came along, and then that's how they gained that crazy hysterical fan base that they had. Cool record, man. This is one of their big early hits. This is a historic song. On to the next. So this track, Love Me Do, actually had a different drummer on it at first. Now, this is something that I learned recently, that Ringo Starr wasn't always a part of the Beatles. They had another guy whose name was Pete Best, and he was the original Beatles drummer. He was on a version of this song early on, but it's George Martin who decided that he was deemed unsatisfactory by Martin, and they eventually hired Ringo Starr. This is one of the first records. I think this is the first record he was actually on. It was a huge success, and this is another part of the folklore of the track, is that people thought that their manager was buying these records because people didn't understand how this band, with their first single, was making so many sales. But as Lennon says, he's buying them himself, or he's just fiddled the charts, but he wasn't. This was a quote from him. Cool little folklore. Let's get into the track. Here we go. This is Love Me Do by the Beatles. Harmonica.
Love me do.
Lennon on the harmonica.
Love me do. Love me do. You know I love you. I'll always be true. So please, love me do. Oh, love me do.
Interesting. This is the first record that features Ringo Starr, but I would say the real cool part of this for me is the drum work on this one. It's got a great groove to it. So shout outs to Ringo for that one. I've read a little bit about his style. He apparently chooses feel over like technical virtuosity. That's what his style is, to be in groove and in feel with whatever the record is. Again, serving the record.
Someone to love. Someone like you. Love me do. You know I love you. I'll always be true. So please, love me do. Oh, love me do.
Whoa. Certain bits come out at me in terms of the influence, like that little passing there, how these guys were so influential. Like, I've seen a version of this, obviously very different stylistically, be done in other ways, where his voice is kind of fading out and it's got a haunting quality to it, and then the music kind of takes over. This part here where he's like, oh, love me do. Well, not as terribly as I did it, but in a great way, the way Lennon did it. Has been done in so many other ways, and how these guys were like trailblazers. Each step of the way, they were revolutionizing it. People got to then stand on their shoulders and take it to different places. But I think even a band like Tool, maybe no one makes the connection. How they do a version of this, obviously in their way, in a darker, more complex way, where Maynard's voice is fading out hauntingly as the music then blares. They've done that a bunch of different times, and here we are, 63. Lennon's doing it. Pretty damn cool, right?
Love
that part.
Yeah, love me do. Oh, love
Right
me
there. Right there. Cool song, man. Pieces of history. Pieces of history. That's kind of how I'm taking this album. I've said it before. These aren't going to be my favorite records, but it's really cool as a music lover to hear where everything first started. Really, really interesting. And it's got a very bluesy feel to it. The harmonicas in there too. Again, you're seeing Lennon and McCartney in their early phases, learning how to write records, coming together. Cool stuff, man. And Ringo's first performance. I'll catch you guys on the next one.